Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Combating Cancer. I'm your host, Gwen Kelly. If you're new here, I just want to say welcome and thank you, not just for pressing play on this podcast, but showing up for yourself. Whether you're in the middle of treatment, recovering from it, caring for someone who is, or grieving someone who didn't make it, this space is for you. Here, you don't have to filter your pain or shrink your joy. You get to be real, just like we do in this community. For those of you who are just joining, a little bit of background information about me is that when I was 19 years old, I was diagnosed with stage 3 astrocytoma brain cancer. Overnight, my life flipped from college classes to brain surgery, chemo, and radiation. I created this podcast because when I was in the thick of it, I couldn't find a place where people talked about cancer in a way that felt real. It was either too sugar-coated or too clinical, never the messy, honest middle ground where most of us actually live. So that's what Combating Cancer became, a space for raw, unfiltered, sometimes painful, but always hopeful conversations. No script, no sanitizing, just truth. If you've been listening for a while, you know I get routine brain scans every 90 days. It's a rhythm I've gotten used to, but it never gets easier. I had my most recent scan on September 9th, and I was so ready to come on here and share the good news. I was hoping to say everything's clear, but that's not what happened. The scan showed something new, a small area of flare hyperintensity in the right parietal centrum semiovale, close to but separate from my original resection site. My team is calling it intermediate. To be clear, the word cancer hasn't been used. There isn't a confirmed reoccurrence, but it also is not nothing. I've been scheduled for a more detailed MRI in early October to monitor the area. My doctors are staying cautious but calm. They're acting quickly, and that gives me peace. But I won't lie to you guys, hearing that something new showed up hit me like a punch to the gut. All those fears I've spent years trying to manage, fears of surgery, of chemo, of my body betraying me again, came rushing in like a tidal wave. And it's wild how fast it happens. Just 2 words, something new. And suddenly, you're back in the hospital gown, back in the waiting room, back in the fight. Normally, I might have waited to share this, waited for the next scan, waited to know more, waited to feel more okay. But this platform was built on truth, and the truth is, this is part of the cancer experience, even after treatment ends, even when you're no evidence of disease, even when you're doing well. Survivorship isn't a clean finish line. It's a series of cliffhangers, it's scan after scan. It's learning how to live in the in-between. This is the first time since I was diagnosed that my scans didn't come back clean, and honestly, I thought I'd handle it better. I thought I'd be strong. I thought I'd say, okay, what's next? But instead, I broke down in that room. I felt my eyes welling with tears. I was scared. I cried. I couldn't keep it together. I didn't know if I was angry or heartbroken. I just knew I didn't want to do this again. And that's the truth. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is fall apart. Sometimes courage looks like allowing yourself to feel it all, because bottling it up can be so much more harmful. So, a few days before the scans, before I even knew about the lesion, I was already spiraling. I had sat down with my dad, who's been one of my biggest supporters through this entire journey, and I started pouring out all of my fears, the what-ifs, the anxiety, the mental math of survival odds. And he looked at me and he said, "You've got a choice, Gwen. You can live in fear, you can dwell in the what-ifs, or you can remember who you are, the same person who didn't roll over when she heard the word cancer for the first time. Don't start now." At the time, I was like, okay, thanks, Dad. Like, that's not what I wanted to hear. But deep down, I knew he was right. And yes, if you're listening, Dad, you were right. I know I don't like to admit that many times, but here's the thing. Something that we don't talk about enough. Life after cancer can be just as hard, sometimes harder, than life during treatment. When you're in treatment, you have a plan, a team, a calendar. You're in survival mode. But when treatment ends, you're handed your life back, and no one tells you what to do with it. You're expected to bounce back, to be productive, to be grateful. But fear doesn't clock out. Trauma doesn't punch a time card. Then something like this happens, a spot on a scan, a shadow, a question mark, and suddenly the ground shakes all over again. So, what do? We choose. Right now, I'm choosing not to let fear take more from me than cancer already did. I'm choosing to focus on the facts. We caught this early. My team is on it. I've been here before and I've made it through. I'm also choosing to honor the hard, to say it's okay to cry. It's okay to cancel plans. It's okay to not be okay. What's not okay is letting fear dictate our joy. Because we didn't fight this hard just to survive. We fought to live. So when I was going through treatment, I used to daydream about the simple things of going to brunch with my friends, taking walks with my dog without getting winded, watching Netflix without stopping to throw up. And now I'm living that life, but sometimes I forget to feel it. I let fear steal those small, beautiful moments I once begged for. So lately, I've been asking myself, what if today is enough? What if just being alive is the win? And if you're listening and you're in the thick of it, or you're grieving, or you're waiting for answers like I am, please hear me when I say, you're not broken, you're not alone, and you don't have to be strong every day. It's okay to miss your old life. It's okay to be angry and confused. It's also okay to build something new, a life that isn't ruled by fear. You get to live, and that right there is the most powerful thing of all. I'll end with something my dad said that has stayed with me through all of this. He said, you could die in a car crash the day before your scan. All that worrying would have been for nothing. Yesterday's gone, tomorrow's not promised. All you have is today. And he's right, and I don't know what October will bring, but I know that I'm here today. So I'm choosing to live, not to brace, not to wait, but to live with courage, with presence, and with joy. If this episode gave you something, comfort, strength, or just a reminder that you're not alone, I'm so glad that you're here. I'll keep sharing these updates, but until then, I'm focusing on becoming the best version of myself I can over these next 30 days, mentally, physically, and spiritually. If you or someone you know want to share a story, ask a question, or connect, reach out. I'm on all platforms at Combating Cancer, and if you're an organization or a sponsor who wants to support this mission, I'd love to hear from you too. Thank you for being a part of this community. Thank you for accepting me for who I am and hearing these ugly truths that I have to share sometimes. It really makes me feel less alone, and I am unbelievably appreciative of this entire community. You guys are amazing. I'll talk to you next Wednesday. Until then, take care and live boldly.